you may want to start because it's going to be a long time before we trust you again.
It certainly wasn't clear to anyone at Enron, much less anyone outside of it. It wasn't really clear what was going on or what was going to happen.
I know there's a lot of speculation about Andy's involvement. I and the board are also sure that Andy has operated in the most ethical and appropriate manner possible.
The next day, Andy Fastow was fired, and the Enron board discovered that he had made more than $45 million from his LJN partnerships.
The question, Mr. Fastow, is how could you believe that your actions were in any way consistent with your fiduciary duties to Enron and its shareholders, or with common sense notions of corporate ethics and propriety? How do you answer, sir?
Mr. Chairman, on the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the questions based on the protection afforded me under the United States Constitution.
Andy, in many ways, I think he was set up as the fall guy. All of the Enron executives were saying, there's your man, Andy Fastow. He's the crook. You know, he's the one that stole from Enron, stole from LJN. He's the one that cooked the books. Go after him.
I've thought about this and thought about this, and it couldn't have just been a few executives at Enron that made this happen. If you think of the banks involved, Chase, Morgan, Citibank, the billions in loans, Arthur Anderson. What about Vincent and Elkins, the lawyers that represented us? There had to have been complicity across the board because it was all too easy. All too easy.
The Enron collapse was an enormous tragedy. This is a company that had over 30,000 employees, and clearly the company that size, you have a lot of senior officers that have a lot of authority in which you place enormous trust. Clearly in this case, there was at least one, Andy Fastow, that betrayed that trust. To the extent that I did not know what he was doing, that he obviously didn't share with me what he was doing, then indeed I cannot take responsibility for what he did.
I never heard him say I take responsibility for a thing. It sounded to me like the wonderful movie Chicago. I was reminded of the puppet strings and the dancers and the tap dancing and pointing at the gun. I mean, everybody's in step with Johnny.
I continue to grieve, as does my family, over the loss of the company. Linda and I and saw our net worth reduced from several $100 million down to something less than $20 million on net worth basis, and of course you said about $1 million or less in liquidity.
I don't know whether I'd be rather be shot as a crook or as an idiot.
I believe the only venue for me is the Ride of Broken Dreams.
Oh, you mean the Enron ride? Let's go.
Enron hit the national psyche. He hit it as sort of the time-tested lesson. And that is, if it looks too good to be true, sometimes it is.
And the Dow comes out roaring. S&P a little sluggish. The Fed tightens up. Mortgage rates right behind. Here's the jobs report. Down. Here's retail turnaround. But wait, new home sales skyrocket. The Dow comes back with a rally. What a finish! Play Paul the Close, presented by Churchill Downs. Every day you play is another chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime trip for two to the Kentucky Derby, including a $100,000 Derby dream bet. Play now. Call theclose.cnbc.com. Oh!
Edmunds.com said, they just might take over the world with this thing. CarAndDriver.com exclaimed, just call it impressive. And MotorTrend.com added, this could be America's next bestseller. All that before any of them saw this. Now, get a special introductory lease of just $199 a month for your all-new Hyundai Sonata. And you can quote us on that.
Nice move. But can your retirement income keep pace with changing interest rates?
This new variable annuity from Equitable has an option that can help your retirement income move with changing interest rates. But what do I know? I'm just the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
Meet the retirement cornerstone annuity from AXA Equitable, part of your retirement plan. Consider the charges, risks, expenses, and investment objectives before purchasing a variable annuity. Contact a financial professional for a prospectus containing this information. Read it carefully.
Would you like to have your advertising message reach over 150,000 viewers? Conventioneers, tourists, sophisticated travelers, and business decision makers all converge on the fabulous Las Vegas Trip Daily. Did you know 80% of their dining and entertainment decisions are made after they get here? And they spend almost 6 hours a day viewing television in their rooms? Can you afford not to have your commercial message inside 80,000 hotel rooms? Talk about smarter advertising. Call 800-551-8650. Discover a smarter way to reach business without media.
Weeding and cultivating has never been easy. And now you can get this amazing Mantis Tiller cultivator at huge savings. Now you receive free shipping and free kickstand accessories. Use the Mantis for a low rate, and if you're not delighted, return it for a prompt, no questions asked refund.
Call 1-800-677-6519. That's 1-800-677-6519. Call 1-800-677-6519 today.
It is my belief that Enron's failure was due to a classic run on the bank.
Don't look now, but there's something funny going on over there at the bank, George. I've never really seen one, but that's got all the air marks of being a run.
On December 2nd, 2001, less than 4 months after Stern's resignation, Enron declared bankruptcy.
I remember. It was just a strange kind of a surreal day. We learned around 9:30 of bankruptcy and that we were all being let go. We all felt like we were on the Titanic and the last lifeboats had long gone and we were just now on the sinking ship. We had 30 minutes to leave the building, and at that point, it was no longer like being on the Titanic. It was kind of like being on the Lusitania. The torpedo had hit, and there's 20 minutes to get out.
There's a lot of disbelief. Very few of the rank and file people ever dreamed that Enron would actually go bankrupt. And now all of a sudden it's like a ghost town. I can remember going into the old building on certain floors late in the afternoon or evening, and it was scary. There'd be like papers blowing around and nobody there, and it was very eerie.
Mr. Skilling, your opening statement was extremely compassionate to the employees. And I want to show you a tape, and I believe we have it ready to go. Listen to this.
We invest all of our 401k in Enron stock, absolutely.
Why is it that you had begun unloading your stock pretty heavily before that date, and yet led the employees to think they should keep buying stocks?
Mr. Senator, I have been a major shareholder in Enron Corporation, and you can take the videotape to mean what you want it to mean. I was a supporter of Enron Corporation.
You know what happened to those people. They lost everything.
I feel terrible about what happened to the employees.
Well, at one time, things were really rosy for us. We all had some really nice 401ks and pensions, and it peaked, and then it just started going down. It went lower and lower. The peak, I had about $348,000. I sold it for $1,200. That's what I got for it.
While Enron's stock was plummeting, the retirement accounts of Enron's rank-and-file workers were frozen.
We were frozen out of our accounts. It was right about $32, I believe. And over that time, from when it was frozen to when it opened up, I think it went down to $9. And we could not access it. And what came out later that was so bad was the fact that Kinley and Skilling and all the top people were moving their money then. But we couldn't.